Good morning, welcome to Beast Pat Paints. I'm Pat. I paint things on the internet. I don't know what time it is where you're at, but it's morning here. So good morning from me to you to whatever time you are at watching this, because that's the cool thing about the internet, right? Like, you could be watching this. It could be like 5 years from now, and you're finally seeing me, and I recorded this, and like everything's changed. Ooh. Anyway, so basically what we do here is I goof off and paint stuff, and I run my mouth about whatever comes into my brain, which is kind of scary sometimes, and sometimes it's just blank. Sometimes there's nothing there. I don't have anything. So hopefully today my brain is moving a little bit better. I drink a little coffee. Hopefully that gives me kicks me up and gets me going. We shall see. We shall see. If you like what you see, give us a like and subscribe. That stuff's nice. It helps move things around and gets us seen by more people, and we can get people who can see more tutorials on how to paint things. Well, I guess tutorials. It's more like, I don't know, just me running my mouth while I paint. I try to do it kind of tutorial style, but sometimes we get off on weird tangents, and I'm just painting. Good. Okay, so we got these guys right here. We were working on this one yesterday, and we were waiting on his. Come on, camera. There we go. Nope, didn't grab it. There we go. So we can see where all our washes and stuff have kind of set in, and help give this guy kind of a two-tone kind of color to it. We'll definitely come back in. We gotta put a little bit of Naples, finish up the tail pieces and stuff like that, and we'll start working on the armor and the leathers and all of that part. And we gotta figure out what we're gonna do about his big old fin here, and then we can move on to the next one. So let's do this Naples first. I gotta put these brushes. I think we're actually gonna need this little guy. So if you saw yesterday, you know, we put a wash on part of his jaw here, so we kind of want to take away too much of that color, but we want to bring some of it out. Similar to what we did with the other scales. Maybe just a little bit on this rope if we can. Sometimes you gotta clear that out. Just a little bit of a misstroke. That can happen time to time. You just kind of accidentally touch the wrong part of something. Knowing how to clean it up and knowing how to hide it is a big part of learning how to paint miniatures. If you can get to where you don't ever make the mistakes, of course that would be beneficial, but everybody makes errors. It's just part of life, you know. So know how to correct your errors is super important. A lot of times that's what changes the difference between somebody who's, you know, does something part-time and people who do things on a more professional level. Professionals usually have encountered enough of the instances of things going awry that they know how to fix it, like right there. Where amateurs, usually there's some learning that needs to be done and maybe practicing a skill. So what we're trying to do on this channel is get up to that professional level. Well, I think we're getting close. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or nothing, but I feel like we've gotten a whole lot better. I'd highly recommend doing something like this. Starting a little painting vlog, even if you don't necessarily put it on YouTube. It's kind of neat to check your progress. See like how you've been doing, and you know, measure yourself against yourself. So you're not trying to measure yourself against other people. In art, you should only ever measure yourself against yourself, really. Am I improving on the technique I want to improve on? Am I getting my stuff to come across the way I want it to come across? The rest of it's kind of, oh, I want to get in between that rock, but I think I have too much paint on my brush. I'm going to do these abs first. That's not a rock, it's a ring. Does anybody else argue with themselves like that, where you tell yourself you are out of line? You definitely said the wrong thing there, and we need to correct that. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Since I feel like I got this other little voice in my head that says stuff like that to me, like, hey, you were supposed to do that the other way. I'm like, oh, I was. You're right. Little voice in my head that's telling me that I did it wrong. Sometimes I wish that voice was a little faster, and they could tell me before I did it wrong. Huh? What do you think about that, Mr. Voice? Inside my head. Sitting here doing this by yourself is dangerous, y'all. Start talking to yourself. I think that's the fun part, though, right? The idea would be to just continue to get to where I can talk all the whole time and keep it entertaining. I'm a fairly entertaining guy most of the time, but there's definitely an art to being able to consistently come up with stuff to say and talk about. There's a skill there that I don't know that everybody has it. I don't know that I have it necessarily. I'm gonna keep working on trying to develop it. I'm pretty good at talking. I can talk for long periods of time, and people seem to think I'm interesting. I don't think I'm all that interesting, but all my friends keep saying I am. Now I sound like somebody on, like, what is that, American Idol. All my friends told me I could sing, so I came on here to sing. But I do think at least I'm pretty decent at painting these little miniatures. So whether I'm entertaining or not, hopefully you're at least getting something to learn out of it. Now I just did a reply on a lot of those washes, so we're going to let that dry. While that's working, we're going to start picking up some of these bits. I'm probably going to do this last. Probably do his fin last. Got to figure out what we're going to do with there's a couple little bits in here and some armor. So the armor, I picked out this rough iron, which is a cool color. So this is like a reddish, brownish metallic. It's very different than some of the other ones. So I'm not a huge fan of Army Painter's bottles. They always end up with a gang of paint in the cap. which makes me crazy. It doesn't matter how I store it; it always ends up somehow with it paint in the cap. I don't know. it's just the way it likes to live its life, I suppose. Okay, so now we've got. Do we want to brown the whole thing out, or do we want to try to put some sort of paint on there? It seems weird that the Lizardmen would paint something, so it feels like it should be all metal. Anything that's not metal should be leather, right? Like, or stone. So Lizardmen are fairly unadvanced creatures. Yeah, see, and then we can actually pit this out with some, or dink it up with some other metal, a silver, to make it look like it's been popped and hit. There's not nearly as much filigree or decor on the plates themselves like they were with our snake men. Yeah, that looks great. I like that. I really do enjoy this metallic. That's usually where I spend my what I spend my time looking for when it's model paints is their metallics. A lot of your more traditional acrylics, they don't always have metallic colors, and their variety isn't going to be nearly as diverse as modeling paints are. So if you're not looking to do non-metallic metal work, you're just trying to look for a metallic paint, you definitely want to go with your hobby stuff. I said I may not like this company's bottles, but they're metallic for that rough iron looks great. Get that to pop in. Can we like? There we go. I really got to get this camera replaced. Come on, lock in. I think it's just this AI chip is not designed for stuff like this. It's because I got to get a camera that I can actually like focus into one area so it stays focused. Like there we go. We got it to pop now. Okay. I gotta get it to where it will stay focused on this, but this one doesn't because it's trying to autofocus, and I can't get into the camera to change its settings because it's too cheap and probably old. It's probably old. Probably too old for all that. It's like, what? You're not trying to focus it on your face and all? Alright, so this knee pad is definitely a piece of metal. But I like the idea of it being rough iron, because that seems befitting for this kind of creature. They've got some rudimentary tech, and they've got a language, and they're intelligent. They're just primitive. So they would have an understanding of how, if you strapped on metal in places, it would save you. And those are all leather bits holding the metal pieces on. It's actually a pretty cool setup. He did a great job with the sculpts. At least I think it's a he. I know that the main guy is. There may be some girls on his team by now. I really should look that up. You should give credit to everybody who does the work on things, honestly. When you can. Go credit where credit's due, right? That guy got bits of stuff everywhere. Okay. Now what about his little sash? They love red. Red would look real good on him. He only got like one little loincloth. Need to do this rope. We need to do all this leather. Yep, big expo in Shawnee on Saturday. For any of you folks in Oklahoma that want to come see us, come check us out. We'll be there. If you don't live in Oklahoma, be there in spirit. You know, if you watch my show and you're like, hey, you know, this guy's cool. Be there in spirit. Send us some vibes. Send us some positive thoughts. Be like, man, I hope they do well. That's all. That's all anyone could ask for, right? Just positivity. I like positivity. I was a chef for a long time, and there's not a lot of positivity in chef world. It is always looking for things to go wrong. That's your job. So I tried not to let that get to me too much, but it's just part of the game. And one thing I like about art is that like it can be very positive. I suppose it always has to be, but it can be. Okay. That stuff is completely dried out. Pick it up, roll it up into. I haven't been going very long at all. I'm making pretty good progress on this one. My dang palette's all sorts of crazy. I gotta fix it, clear it pretty soon. It's gotten out of control. I'd say it's a little bit out of control, but that'd be a lie. It is a lot out of control. Well, looks like the tariffs paused again, because, you know, Trump always caves. Taco. That's hilarious. Golly. I don't normally talk a bunch of politics, but man, that's funny. Oh man, he did it again. Oh my gosh. Phone just blowing up with it too. Everybody talking about it. I have a lot of financial news on my phone, so anytime this is definitely a financial news situation. No surprise it blew up. Alright, now I'm just gonna do the whole thing in the sienna. There's like some sort of cloth sticking out of these that I am probably gonna pick out. I may make it, I might turn it the color I do his loincloth. I might do it some other color. Not really sure exactly. We're gonna figure out when we get there. It's a little bit more metallic. Just a little too thin. There we go. I'm just gonna check all these places. Make sure we got everything. Close as we want it before we move on to the next set of colors. Really do need to make a choice there. I guess we can work on get these segments done. Just add just a little bit back to it. Not doing anything crazy. Probably crimson. Oh, that's down there or up here? It's up here. Crimson will look good against all that green. The red will look really nice. Definitely time to consider changing this palette. It is overflowed with different colors. It's all crazy. I've been working on way too many different things. There's so much color on it. It's not very organized because like it was meant for one project and then it became 2 projects, and then like a third emergency project, and I like to think that they would have some dyes. I like to think that the Lizardmen have a little bit of pride in their stuff. Although it could have just been, we could have just made it out of complete leather. That would have been fun too. Go ahead and get this back to it. Not that anybody's probably gonna see that, but I like to think of this guy, this first guy here, the one we're testing. Maybe he's a little higher up in the ranks, you know. Maybe he's a sergeant or something. That's why he's got the big long stick with some sort of, it's made out of some sort of tooth or sharpened bone or something. So like, you know. Maybe he's somebody important. We don't know. We don't know. That's the cool thing about this, is like it could be, these little creatures could be anything you want it. Heck, maybe this one gave up. Maybe this one gave up the bad life. Maybe he doesn't go out pillaging and raiding anymore, and he joined a group of adventurers. Maybe he did that. Or maybe he's still just the scourge. The scourge of a little town. He likes to take sheep and gobble them up. Oh yeah, bad guys. Always fun with bad guys. Coming up with reasons they're so awful. And then watching real bad guys in real life and be like, oh my god, I would have never even, how do you, oh my god. Like cartoon evil and movie evil is one thing, real evil is something else, man. slowly, real carefully. Bring some of that color through. A lot of times with those ankle bits, even the hint of color is going to help us. That's another little round of raw umber in here. Kind of help muddle up some of that. Blend that together. It helps make it look all uniform and stuff like that. Again, this is just really trying to make sure we've got the segments of the tail really standing out for us. All right. Got great claws. I love his claws. They're all long and like they just look evil. Look awful. They look like iguana claws. If you've ever held an iguana, their claws are a lot like that. And these little details right here, this is what really will separate a lot of stuff. You put just a few little claw marks, and it doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to be like super on point with it. Just a few little bits of things like claw marks, and your miniatures will take off in a new direction. People will notice a lot. They notice that stuff really quickly. Like, oh look, he's got a little claw. He's do the claw. Which is what we're really trying to do anyway. We're all trying to get people to pay attention to what we made. You know, whether it's your homies at the house and you're doing a little D&D game, or you're at the local game store slinging it up. We all want people to notice our stuff. Some of us may be a little bit more obsessively than others, but you know, everybody's got their own way of doing things, their own way of feeling. That's okay. Right? To me, the coolest thing about the world is how different we all are. It's like paint. You don't want to paint a lizard guy all in one color. How many colors we put on this guy? How many different bits have we worked on? How many little different straps does he have? He's different from the other guy, and that's what makes things cool, man. Somehow we all ended up floating around on this crazy ball of rocks in the middle of a vast sea of emptiness. Everywhere around us, there's nothing else like us. So it's cool to think about how all these differences have come together to create a thing that is a rarity in the universe. You know? Because without all our differences, who knows where we would be? Different people thinking of different things, taking us to different places, doing different stuff. That's cool stuff. That's cool to think about. we definitely missed right here. Leather. Let's do another round. And these guys, just pull out just a little more. Yeah, like his little red claw sticking through. That's fun. I like that. Okay, I like it. I wasn't sure when I put it on there. I was like, we'll see. I like it. I like it. A little bit too fat of a bead, but it's all right. Got to work out. All right, so now what are we gonna make all these little trinkets? That one's easy. We'll make that one regular bronze. If it's all completely dried out, which it might be. Completely. Teeth. This just be trophies, is my guess. And what are we gonna make that stone? Turquoise. That'll look nice. Yeah. Like these stones turquoise. I think they all have them. So a little flash of blue will look great. Alrighty. He's just a lizard man. Make sure I'm getting exactly where that line ends. Definitely harder to see it on the back where it's dark. There's a line of the wraps. They should make sure we're on target. Oh, 37 minutes. Yeah, we're doing good. We're cruising. We are cruising. Oh. Okay. Awesome. Now, kind of want to start off with like a blue and then go to an orange. Or blue to yellow. Could do classic blue to yellow. Let that rest for just a second. For iguanas with like fin looks to them. Most of these are. That's fun. It's like a reddish brown. Man, is that even real? I don't even know if that blue. I don't even know if that's real. That's the thing with the internet, man. You just don't know anymore. It's more like a basilisk with that thing on his head like that. Kind of like the idea of that orange though. That's kind of a fun idea. You know, I think Magnus did his best, but went about it the wrong way. Ever might have overreacted a bit, even though he did set Thousand Suns players in their constant. Magnus did nothing wrong. Yeah, that's a uh so it's interesting because with that situation, some of it, to me, it's like Magnus was supposed to kind of go off the rails. Like, if he didn't, it wouldn't. If he didn't, the situation wouldn't work the way it is. And I don't know, somebody like the Emperor, like, theoretically, he knew it was going to happen. You know, like, he theoretically kind of knew it was coming. And so, like, you get into this weird thing is like, did he make it happen? Or did it just come about of its own will? Yeah, he did a lot of things wrong. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What it ended up causing to happen, what Magnus did, kind of messed up this project that was supposed to make it to where humanity could live in the webway or exit into the webway to avoid demonic incursions whenever necessary, or whatever. So like, but again, like, Magnus was supposed to sit on the throne to make it work. So if it was Magnus is supposed to sit on the throne to make it work, why are we like? Why is he not allowed to know what the fuck it is? Like, it's definitely an interesting little kind of catch-22 thing, if you will. But again, the Emperor, the way the Emperor works when you read him in the literature, like, he makes mistakes, so maybe he didn't foresee it. So it's really interesting. I think that they leave that debate open like that specifically because it drives engagement and gets people talking about Warhammer and such. Just very, very gently taking care of some of these little koi spots. Magnus did nothing wrong. Yeah, if you're a T-Suns player, you're required to say that at least once a month, I think. You're supposed to say Magnus did nothing wrong once a month. Yeah, that's fun, right? That's kind of a fun look. Turns into orange. And his spikes are all spiky on it. Hey, Spike. What do you like? Watch secret level episode before playing Space Marine 2. Then again after playing through the game. It makes so much more sense having played the game. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I thought a lot of people were totally not gonna get the secret level thing at all. I was like, oh man, I can see what they're doing. It's like I mean, I keep pretty tabs on Warhammer stuff, so kind of had a feeling what they were trying to do with the games and stuff like that, where they're heading. Which there's some cool stuff on the horizon. They're gonna do some neat stuff, and it may not always. This is the crazy thing about Warhammer. Like, not everything that Warhammer does is gonna be liked by all people. It rarely is, but Warhammer is really good at like keeping up with what's going on with it, making things interesting. Like they know how to create the drama and then kind of use that drama. I got it, but it didn't completely because I didn't understand. Yeah, when you understand what Titus is, like, it changes things. Like what kind of what kind of Marine he really is, what's really going on there. You know, you don't live through Death Watch missions. So when you do, it's like, this man is beyond. And he's got some presence with the warp. Like, it, I don't know if they explained it in the games completely yet, but the different types of people have different kind of warp signatures is a great way to just say it, because like it's like their karma is so, or what they're supposed to, their destiny is so powerful that it's almost immovable by other entities inside the universe. Yeah, he's got like this. It's almost like a psyker's of resistance without being a psyker. And the thing that the Emperor was always trying to do, because some of the God Emperor in Warhammer is based off the same ideas of God Emperor and Dune, and that what the Emperor is trying to do, the God Emperor is trying to make humanity evolve. They're trying to get them to the next phase of humanity. And the Emperor, because he's created two different types of super soldiers using human DNA, and both of them he didn't treat the same way he treated real humans. And so, like, he's trying to evolve the species and give it a place to do that. Now, the reasons why is widely debated. And my theory is that he's trying to become a chaos god, or a similar entity, or that he may actually be one. He may be this one called Malice that they don't actually talk about very often anymore. But like, they brought the squats back, even though they're not squats. They're, the League of Volton or whatever that's supposed to mean in Games Workshop. You're not fooling me, James. Where are we at? Oh man, 50 minutes. Hey, we did pretty good. Okay, so we got to get his mount done. We need to finish his shoulder pads. Oh, it almost had it that time. Did we do what? This trick worked? No. Let me do it this way. I really need to get a better camera. Anyway, Finn's looking great. All the rest of him's looking good. We got to do these shoulders next, and I'll work on these eyes. Looks like I got a little smithy on one of them. Did. Yes. Yeah, they pulled him in to do it. It went a little over the top, but I think that Games Workshop wanted it to be over the top. One of the things that was so good about Astartes is like it was showing the power levels are different depending on who's doing what, and they really kind of they made everything seem a little bit more believable. In the secret level 1, it felt like Titus was just too amazing. He's just too amazing. And like all the Marines in that one were kind of just over the top amazing. And which is cool, but I kind of like it when you can see that they're struggling and that things are rough, and like until the very end you don't really get into a bad situation with them. They're just wading through stuff, and then they get involved with that one chaos sorcerer. Well, demon. That's a chaos, some sort of chaos demon. And then that's when they all finally die. And it's like, there should have been a few more. Should have been a few more that got killed. But who knows? Who knows? Okay. Well, I'm going to take a break on this guy. Sign off. And I'm going to get on to getting these snake men done, because I got to get all these UNTs ready for the show that is on Saturday. So come on by if you're out and about in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Come on by. We'll be at the fairgrounds, I think, is Shawnee Fairgrounds here. It is the Triple C Expo by Pops Diecast. So come check it out. Be a lot of fun. Yeah, leaning into Zinj. Zinj is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a neat. I like the motif of the Zinj stuff with all the eyes and the colors. I like their color schemes and stuff like that. The blues and the purples. I've always kind of gravitated towards blues and purples. I like them. It's just nice. They're fun colors. Although I've been painting a whole hell of a lot of green lately. Such is life with lizards, right? And snakes. Yeah. So if you're out in the area, come by, check us out. Come, support the deal. If not, don't worry. No worries. If you like what you saw here, you like our little discussions on whatever comes across my mind or whatever, our lovely moderator, Sir McBeardsly, can come up with, definitely give us a like and a subscribe. That stuff helps us, get out there. We can get more commissions, and then maybe I can pay for a better camera. Anyway, yeah, be exciting. One more day for the rest of, and then we're off for the weekend. I'll definitely have this Lizardman done by then. He is probably gonna be. We'll probably have this first one done tomorrow, and then we'll be on to one of the other ones. Woo, golly, I'm yawning. So, yeah, cool. I don't know if we'll have them all done. Not by Friday or by tomorrow. That's a lot of work. We have a lot of lizards. Maybe we'll work on them at the show. Who knows? Maybe I told you. Cooler day. Yeah, it's way nice out today. It's supposed to be cooler like all the rest until like sometime at the end of next week. So enjoy in Oklahoma at least. Yeah, right. Texas is still hot as hell. Yeah. Enjoy the weekend. It's gonna be a nice one. It's gonna be a nice, cool weekend and week. It's the rest of the week. So enjoy all that. I'm gonna sign on out of here, and yeah, be good to each other. Be good to somebody. Be good to yourself. Be good. It's better. It's better for the world. We all need to help each other. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye.